So like coming back to personal branding, how can young professional measure the impact of their personal brand on their career profession? How can they utilize it?
Yeah, see, I guess two parts to the question that you asked. One is career progression, second is measuring impact. I mean, my belief is don't be obsessed about either. Don't measure the impact. Don't worry about is it helping my career progression. I think ultimately who you are, your personal branding should be born out of things that are core to you. Who am I? What's important to me? How can I best serve people? What are things that play to my strengths? And I think the best way of using that is to just continually build on that, build your self-awareness, keep building your awareness of who you're serving. Now, as you go along in your career journey, there will be ways in which you can measure it. Of course, it'll be feedback from others. So one of the things I always encourage people to do is welcome feedback and take feedback. Don't wait for year-end appraisals. Don't wait for I'll only take feedback that I want to hear. Take as broad feedback as you want, because that will give you a good feeling of how are people actually experiencing me. And really use that to identify blind spots, because all of us are human. All of us have our blind spots that we may not even be aware of as we're going through our day-to-day life. So I think that's the best way of not measuring impact, but taking mid-course guidance, taking mid-course correction as you're building, to see that, look, how people are experiencing you, is that consistent with how you want to be experienced, with how what will be of use to people, with what will help you succeed. I think that's the one important thing people should be mindful of.
Right. Wonderful. So coming to the mistakes, because people are really like, as you talk about the feedback, it is very important for us to get the feedback to improve ourselves.
Yeah.
And to get the right feedback, we have to make some mistakes as well. So
Absolutely.
based on your experience, what are the common mistakes young professionals make when they build their personal brand, and how can they avoid them?
Sure. No, I'll talk about one very common mistake that people make, and then I'll talk about a mistake that I personally made when I was younger in my career and life. So the most common mistake when it comes to personal branding is people thinking it's all about them. What image am I creating? Am I selling myself? And I think that is a huge mistake, because as we talked, branding and building a personal brand is not about you. It's about people you serve. It's not about aggressive hustling or selling. It's about self-awareness and then bringing that to life. So I think that's the most common mistake people make, which is, to build a personal brand, I need to network, I need to be extroverted, I need to hustle. Maybe you do, but the starting point is take a step back. Who am I serving? How can I best serve them? What naturally plays to my strengths? How can I bring that to life authentically? So I think that rushing into action with that eagerness to sell yourself without that introspection and self-awareness is a big mistake. The other mistake which I personally made a lot when I was younger is not asking for help. I think, all of us make mistakes. All of us. We're all human. I still make mistakes. All of us do. And when I was younger, I think I used to take a lot of pressure on myself of I need to figure things out. And I think we're often conditioned as a society where asking for help is a weakness or not having things under control. And over time, I've realized is when you're stuck, when you can't figure something out, the best thing you can sometimes do is be vulnerable and say, look, I need help, or I don't know how to deal with this. And you'll be amazed at the kind of help you get, whether it's from mentors, bosses, friends, family. And I think that's the part which I'd encourage people to embrace is none of us is alone in our journey. I know we say it's personal brand, but the reality is we're all intertwined. It's that we're all in this journey together. You and I are chatting today. In a way, our lives are intertwined, even if for an hour. And hopefully, we learn something from each other. And with our family members, it's a longer journey. With colleagues, it may be a longer journey. All of us are intertwined. And I think get into the habit of asking for help. And I think that's something I didn't do enough of earlier in my career. I'd encourage people to get into that habit as early as they can.
Right. That's the power of emotional intelligence, accepting your feelings and emotions and then
Absolutely.
asking for help if required.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Manik, for your very insightful answers. This is what I can say.
Okay, now this is scary when it gets to those TV shows when you have rapid fire. So I hope you don't have Very tough
That's going to be
questions.
very scary today. So the first question is one word to describe your personal brand. How would you sum it up?
I'd say a creator, somebody who loves creating things, brands, teams, ideas, relationships. That's what I love doing.
Wonderful. So what do you suggest, LinkedIn or Twitter for young professionals? Quick pick for professional branding.
I'd say if you just purely from a professional branding standpoint, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. So what should be the morning routine for an effective personal branding? Like what's your go-to morning routine?
Yeah, I don't see. First of all, I don't think there's any one personal routine for. There's no formula for success, right? We are all different. Each one of us has our own journey. But I think what I believe we should do early in the morning is be conscious of the things that are important to us and make sure we are tapping into that. All the things that give us energy. So I'll tell you what I do in the morning. I wake up very early, around 5:15. Earlier, I used to exercise by myself. Now my son's a teenager. We go to the gym together. We spend some time together in the morning. He goes to school. Then I'll go for a run. Then I'll start my day. I'll have breakfast with my wife, and then I start my day at work. So in a way, those couple of hours, I'm kind of condensing in many of the things that are important to me. I'm spending quality time with family. Then getting ready for my day at work. If I'm working on a book, I'll typically take 20 minutes of that time
Hmm.
to write.
Well,
So, that's kind of how my day starts is, I believe in operating at very high levels of energy. So my day starts with a high. I don't believe in all the answer day. I say, look, you should be excited to wake up every day and do things that get your energy going. And so that's kind of how I start my day. And I can't advise everyone what they should do, but what I would say is start your day with things that feed your energy, because then you'll be off to a high for the rest of the day.
that's truly inspiring. So since you are also you are a CEO and best-selling author, so tell me somebody you admire for their brand.
Oh, lots of people, lots of people. There are many, many people I think who have built amazing personal brands, who have served others, been consistent. I'll take one from the world of business and one not from the world of business. I mean, from the world of business, one leader I really admired was Steve Jobs. I think, and what I really admired about him was he was so visionary. He literally changed the world. Now, obviously, he had his own rough edges, but so does everyone. Everyone's human. But that's what I really admired about him, really challenging the status quo, having the courage to think differently. And so Steve Jobs is someone I really admired. I think outside of the world of business, if I think of the current world around us now, this is not to get political. I know everyone has their own political views and ideologies. There's not a question of political ideology, but one leader I think who's built an incredible personal brand is Mr. Narendra Modi.
Right.
And I think he is consistent, comes across as authentic. Wherever you encounter him, online speeches, you get a very similar message track. He's an amazing speaker. I think he's done a great job of building really a very compelling personal brand.
That's true. So what is your favorite leadership quote? One that inspires you.
Quote, actually, my favorite. I don't read a lot of business or how to books, but I do have several quotes I really enjoy. In fact, they're on the wallpaper on my computer. So I'll maybe take two, not one. One is a quote from Dr. Seuss, which says, "Why fit in when you were born to stand out?" And I think each one of us is unique. Each one of us is something unique to offer the world. Rather than just try and fit into what others do, we should embrace who we are and bring that to life. The second is a quote by Maya Angelou, who was a American poet, when she said, "When you get, give; when you learn, teach." And that's something I try and live by. I mean, whenever I feel blessed to have had the life I had amazing parents, have a wonderful family, following my passions for writing, have had the opportunity to work with some great people, and I feel all of us have the responsibility to pay it forward, help others, teach others, and that's something. Those are a couple of the quotes that I really like and try and live by.
And you are creating your quotes on daily basis, your own quotes.
I don't know about my quotes, but again,
Yeah,
that's
you're
just
writing
part of
books,
what
so
it,
definitely
yeah, yeah.
having a lot of insightful, wisdomful things in that. So next question is brand colors, cool or classic? Your quick preference.
I'm very my. If you ask my wife that, she'll give you a very different answer. She'll say he's very boring. He'll only wear blue or black. But it's true. For me, it's dark blue. That's kind of my go-to color. Dark blue or black are my go-to colors.
Wonderful. So LinkedIn endorsements or recommendations, which holds more weight?
I would say neither. Don't chase those. Chase how are you adding value to others through your participation? Are you reading what others have said and are you commenting on it with your own experiences? Are you sharing your own ideas? I mean, ultimately, again, your LinkedIn presence should not be a showcase for who you are. It should be an opportunity for you to engage with others in the community. So I think if you're on LinkedIn, read what others are saying, engage with it, share your thoughts on what they're saying, share your own experiences. And I think that's the best way of building a brand is an outcome, but I think that's the best way of adding value to others and yourselves is by using that to engage in the community.
Wonderful, wonderful. Brand new startup or leadership in 100 words, if you have to pick one.
Both my children, difficult to pick one. So I'll take a cop out and say, if you are starting your career or very early in your career, read Brand New Start first because it's really targeted at early career professionals who are starting out in their career. If you, and then maybe you could read Leadership in 100 Words. If you're already a couple of years in your career or you're leading teams, maybe read Leadership in 100 Words first. So I would say, read both. They're both my children, but depending on where you are in your career journey, that's how I'd recommend you probably pick the one to read first.
Right. Virtual networking or in-person events? Quick preferences for building connections. What would you prefer?
I think, I think doesn't matter to some extent. I think ultimately what matters is the quality of the interaction. Whether you're talking virtually or in person, it's are you fully present? Are you fully listening? Are you fully giving of yourself? Are you being authentic? Um, I think those are the things that matter. Whether maybe 5 years ago, I would have said, oh, we must be in person. I think over the last few years, we've all learned that, so much can happen virtually. But I feel ultimately it's the quality of the interaction. If you're going to be distracted, if you're going to be checking your WhatsApp, doesn't matter whether you're virtual or in person. I think it's the quality that you put into that interaction that really matters, and whether it's virtual, and it can be done virtually as well, for sure.
Wonderful. And your personal brand's theme song, a song that resonates with your brand.
Oh, very tough. Very, very tough. Well, maybe there's an old song. I don't know if you've heard it. Yeah, I'm going to betray my age, or a lot of your younger listeners will say, "What is that song?" But there's this song called by Ronan Keating called "When You Say Nothing at All," and I resonate with that because I believe ultimately it's not what you say, but it's what you do that matters, whether it's caring for your family, looking after people at work, doing things. Ultimately, everybody says a lot, but ultimately, what matters is what you do. And I think that song, at least the words, the song is a very different song, but I think those words kind of sum up a lot of how I view the world.
Pardon me?
That song, I think, sums up a lot of how I view the world, which is it's not the
Wow,
words you say, but the actions you do that really matter.
really, really. So your complete interview is on if I have to sum up the interview, it's like full of everything. That you have given importance on physical well-being as you are going to the gym every morning with your son. That indicates that you are totally a family person, giving time, quality time to your family. You have given importance to the mental well-being, taking help from other in case it is required, like accepting yourself, power of mindfulness and self-awareness. Thank you so much, Mr. Manak. I'm really excited to put this video on here so that our audience will also get a lot of wisdom and a lot of clarity in their life, like how they have to proceed and create their own personal brand from starting, so that they would be able to cater a larger audience, serve a lot of people, more people, their people. So thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you so much, Sasha, for having me over and for the very insightful questions. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you. Thank you.
Same here.